Hey, everybody, it's Tom Barnes in the Chicago scene virtually. I'm in Chicago, and my friend Elizabeth, you're hailing from Raleigh, did you say?
Yeah, I'm in Raleigh, balmy Raleigh.
Wow. And you are the author and podcaster of Wine for Normal People, right?
You got it. Absolutely.
So tell me, I think people have, during the quarantine for sure, have decided to dive into all things, maybe trying to figure out wine and see what they like. And they probably made some terrible decisions. So why don't you just give me, how did you get started with the podcast? Like, did it come from a place of just loving wine? Did you know anything about it? Or how did it get started?
Yeah, so I too have made horrible decisions before I knew anything about wine. So I totally empathize with that. And that's basically how I got started. I was a professional working in Boston. I had just finished my, college degree and I was working in technology and I thought,
Which is nowhere near the wine thing.
no,
Or, yeah, okay,
no,
just
but
making
like,
sure I'm
sometimes you do the opposite, right? So
sure. Yeah.
I was like, wow, how come every time I walk into work, I feel confident? And every time I walk into a wine store, I feel like I'm the biggest idiot ever. And all the bottles look
Ding,
exactly the
ding.
same.
Mhm.
And like, I don't know the difference between a grape and a place. And I know that there's some French stuff here. I don't even know. So it made me feel bad about myself. I really didn't like it. And it felt like people were being snotty on purpose, which really made me angry because I was like, it's not that I can't learn it, it's that you don't want me to. I don't know any other thing where people hoard knowledge. They're like these little people who are like, no, I'm not telling you, and I'm gonna make you feel bad. It's so dumb. So I took a class with a guy who was completely down to earth and he taught us, my sister and I, all of this information. And I was like, this is cool because it has so much stuff. First of all, wine is fundamentally farming. And if you can remember that, it's a product of nature. It's not like spirits or beer, really, where like, I mean, the vintage, the reason that you have that on the bottle is because you're talking about weather that year. That's what, was the crop good? When you go to the farmer's market and sometimes like the tomatoes suck and sometimes they're really
Yeah,
good. That's
sure.
what that is, right? That's all that vintage is. And then I realized, okay, there's so many cool things like history and there's culture and travel and, like just all this really cool stuff. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to get to know this a little bit better. And I actually went to business school, worked for a large winery. They were even snotty, even though they made jug wine. And then I
Is
was
jug
like,
wine
forget it.
equivalent to like the wine that comes in the box, and if you pull it out of the box, it's in a bag,
You
which
mean
we
the
used to
Tour de
play.
Franzia thing? Yeah.
Yes, we used to
Oh,
play
no.
slap the bag.
Do you know that in the
uh,
UK they call them bagnums or
I did not
card
know that.
Bordeaux? Card Bordeaux is my favorite.
Oh, I like that for
Come on, that's
sure.
pretty awesome. So anyway,
Yeah.
no, but the point is I got sick of it. And so I started the podcast first and I was like, you know what? Why don't I just talk to people like they were my friends and and explain these terms? It's a pain to have to know them, but if you know them, it's like any other hobby. After a while, you're going to get to know what people are talking about, and then you can talk the talk and get more good stuff that you want. And then I wrote the book for the same reason.
And so for people who are, new at the wine thing, like myself, like I had one bottle of wine. I have like I don't drink a lot, so I have random things that people have left at the house. But here's what
Yep.
I have. I have no idea. Oh, where's the camera? It's over here, right? So
Yep.
there it is.
Sauvignon
I don't know
Blanc,
if you.
right? A grape. Yep. I need to see where
So
it's from. Do you know where it's from?
Napa
Might be on the
Valley,
back.
Napa Valley.
Um, what does it say? Napa? Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what would you say about this wine from 2019? This very fancy wine that was in the downstairs fridge. So
Hey, at least it was in the fridge, right? It's
yeah,
not boiling on the stove. You got that going for you. Um, you know, Nap is a little bit hard on Sauvignon Blanc because it's their cash cow. That's the
mm.
one where they just use that to feed all of they use that to pay for all of the storing of their red wines in those oak barrels, those things. So they use it to
It's
finance
like the
that.
hamburgers of McDonald's, kind of.
No,
Wow.
it's not. It's really, really, it can be very good. It can be it's warmer in Napa
I didn't mean
Valley.
that in a bad way. Like it pays the bills.
No, it pays the bills, right? And
Mm.
by the way, every region has this. You have to have something that's going to pay the bills if you have wines that are aging, because it costs money to hold stuff, even if you're not using it. You got to hold the
Mm.
the inventory. So yeah, Napa Valley has some really good Sauvignon Blanc. A lot of times it's erratic. You don't know what it is depending on the climate, right? It's again farming, tomatoes, all that stuff. So if it were grown in a cooler climate,
Fires.
like more like grapefruit. And if it was grown in a warmer climate, it might be like figs and melons. Usually has really good acidity. So it's great with like, salads and things like that. So yeah, I think that'll be delicious. You should have it.
All right. For people who are new to this thing, like what are some of the things that, like you have these wine people at the restaurants, right? They call them say it for me.
Sommelier. They don't always know everything either. So yes, they are there to help you, but they don't always know everything. In Chicago, yeah, a lot of them are going to know a lot of stuff, but if you don't like how they're treating you, that's bad service.
Yeah. So what's like a dirty secret that you have that people should know? Like when in terms of dealing with them, I guess.
Well, I think as soon as if they start, dropping things that make you feel uncomfortable, there is a little thing called a smartphone now, which we did not have when I was first learning about wine. And let me tell you, that thing goes a long way. There's an app called Tracker, sellertracker.com. You just go on that, type in a couple of wines, see what people say, and it's pretty reliable. If you don't like the person, that's bad service. It's not you. It is not
you. Don't have to put up with a jerk.
You don't. And it's the same thing we said about the wine store people. It's not you. You are somebody who's trying to learn. And so I would say if you're going to a fancy restaurant with a good wine list, try to look at it ahead of time and just narrow down your choices based on the food. You always want to pair based on food. You want to pick your wine based on food. And a great thing, heavy to heavy, light with light, right? Heavy food, heavy wine, light food, light wine. One thing you could do is if you had no idea at all is look at the alcohol level on the back of the bottle. It's on every bottle. That'll tell you how heavy. Alcohol feels heavy in our mouths. I mean, you think about it, vodka, right? It fills it out because it was converted from sugar. So that mouth feeling thing that that mouth feeling thing. So alcohol is going to be a bigger bodied wine. That's what they call it. It's basically how alcoholic it is. So a higher alcohol wine is going to be heavier bodied, and it's usually from warm climates. Warm climates are generally places in like Napa or Southern Italy or Australia. So you'll know that way, places in the book, I say it's places you don't need a jacket during the day, right? Think about those warm places.
Right on. And for somebody that maybe wants, like say they're having a fish dinner with like a side of like light pasta, what is the ballpark for people who are like, they're heading out to a liquor store today to try to figure it out?
Well, it depends on what you're going to put on it, right? So that's the other tip that I always give, the widths and the ins. We get the weight. We know it's going to be a white or a light red. You could do a light red, but it's going to depend on, are you putting some citrus on it? Are you putting mango, like a mango chutney on it? Are you putting an herb butter sauce? So all those things are going to make a difference. So let's just say that it was some sort of like butter sauce. You want something to kind of cut that and make it lighter because the butter can get really heavy if you just keep shoveling that in.
Definitely not something heavy then.
Your Sauvignon Blanc is going to be great for that.
Oh, ding, ding, ding.
You got it.
What would you say, like what region maybe people should think about that would give them a good deal for the money that they want to spend?
Well, the best deals are where people speak Spanish. I'll tell you that right now, or Portuguese. So Chile, Argentina, Spain is, it's like value central, and Portugal. And you can get a great bottle of Portuguese wine for $9. And it will be really good. Yeah. Like from the Douro or Dow and whites too. I mean, the whites are crazy, not just Vinho Verde, not just the, the tall fizzy stuff from Portugal. There's so many great whites. Take a chance, take a risk. I mean, look, if you want to learn, the best way to do it is to drink and just try things. And then once you figure out like kind of some of the things that you like, get some of that vocabulary down, so much easier to communicate with people. And then you can get more stuff that you like, but don't worry. I always say, don't always drink just what you like. Cause if you do that, you're never
going to expand your horizon. Right? Yeah. Right. And people can get the book right now, right? It's out there. Where's the best place for people to find the book?
You get it at your local bookseller or Amazon, Barnes and Noble, anywhere you get your books online. It's at all the big guys and small ones too.
And Wine for Normal People, name of the book and name of the podcast. And how many episodes? Do you put one out every couple of weeks? Are you done or what's every
week for 10 years? I'm on
for
my
10 years. That's incredible.
Yes. 364 episodes.
Wow. Well, here's to 364 more. Enjoy your venture around the world by sampling wine. And thank you for spending time with me on the Chicago scene today.
Thank you so much. And go drink something new.
Absolutely. Thank you.